Turn to previous years, absolutely. Bearing in mind that 2 years, of course, 2 years ago was the most significant commemoration of 70 years since the Victory in Europe Day. Sorry, 80 years since the Victory in Europe Day. 70 years, sorry. And this was obviously a major commemoration during the pandemic. No one could really commemorate that, whereas this year, as you say, veterans and everyone else, the wider public, can take part. Emmanuel Macron, as we mentioned earlier, recently re-elected as president of the Republic, and so much more of an attempt to reassert his authority over this commemoration.
Yeah, and we are sandwiched between two elections now, aren't we, in France? Macron just re-elected, but legislative elections coming up next month. And one of the major issues here is France and its role in Europe.
Absolutely. As we mentioned earlier, France really does play a significant role in Europe, has done really since the end of the Second World War, despite a period of unrest, really arguably with regards to relations between France and Germany, particularly some challenges to the authority of the now European Union when Charles de Gaulle was president of the Fifth Republic. Since then, really, France has played a major role in the European alliance, and indeed is now seeking to lead a Franco-German alliance, with Macron very much taking the lead in regards to Olaf Scholz, the new chancellor.
Yeah, you mentioned this year's commemorations, obviously not as significant as the 75th one, but later on this year, in July, 80 years since a Vel d'Hiv roundup, that was when over 13,000 Jewish families, predominantly foreign ones, were arrested here in Paris. So remind us about those tragic events.
Well, indeed, as we were mentioning earlier, this was the darkest moment, really, of the occupation of France during the Second World War, when French police, men predominantly, with some women, under the supervision and with the collaboration of the Nazi authorities, identified around 13,000 Jewish men, women, and children who were living in and around Paris, particularly in and around the Marais region, arrondissement of Paris. And they essentially identified these people, arrested them, placed them in very difficult and sanitary conditions in the Vel d'Hiv, the Vendrome d'Hiver, the winter cycling stadium in Paris, before sending these people to transit camps in and around Orléans, and then from there usually to the death camps, in particularly to Auschwitz. The darkest moment, really, of that Vichy period. This was a government, of course, led by Marshal Philippe Pétain, that collaborated openly with Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime, and which sought to discriminate largely against foreign-born Jewish people, but also people who had been recently naturalized as French. So really the darkest moment, really, of the Second World War in French history.
Well, there's pressure to form a